So we've got a big ship sale coming up, of course, and there's going to be a lot of questions. Oh, what ship should I get? Should I get this? Should I get that? Should I get the other thing? What's good? And I'll tell you what's not good right now, or what is kind of an unresolved question. Fighters. Now, what do I mean by that? We know that the flight engine in the game is about to get a major change. We know this. So if you're going into these sales coming up in the future, if you're like me and you're someone who has a bit of money in the game and you've moved money around from time to time, this ship to that ship, I think it's a good idea to have some good buyback tokens so that depending on how things shift with the changes to the flight engine, you'll be in a fairly good position to, say, recover from any dramatic changes to certain fighters. Now, what about big ships? I don't think big ships are going to get changed all that much. Most of them we still haven't even seen yet. And to be perfectly honest, big ships are just big ships. I doubt that they're really going to have all that much personality. I think the only ones that might be somewhat different are the Polaris and the Hammerhead because they're reputed to be very fast, potentially the 890. But since we haven't even flown these yet, they're just going to simply probably come to us after these changes, and they're just going to be the way that they are. But fighters are probably going to see the most dramatic difference in the way that they handle. So what might work for you today may not work for you tomorrow. So if you're going into the Star Citizen sale and you're thinking, what should I get? What should I get? If you're looking at fighters, I would be very cautious. And I would say, you know what? It's probably better to have a few buyback tokens and just wait and see how this all shakes out. As an example, some of you more long-term viewers of this channel may remember the fact that at one point I did own a Vanduul Glaive. I purchased it back in 2015, and for I think almost a year after that, I constantly expressed misgivings about the ship. Not about the ship's quality, not about its design. I mean, it was a good design. The weapon placement was pretty darn good. There was a lot of great things about it, but for me, the constant worry was having so much tied up into just one fighter because we didn't really know what fighters were capable of, and certainly the Super Hornet was just an absolutely fantastic performer. It always has been. It's just always been an extremely solid fighter. But there's always been a draw for me. On a personal note, there's always been a draw for me to get back to the Glaive. I've always enjoyed the ship. I've always loved the design. I think it's a good ship. Just, for the longest time, I'd always go, man, but that one price tag. But over time, I had picked up other ships here, there, and everywhere. And recently, I had begun to consolidate down my fleet. Just, once again with the Mercury, consolidating down somewhat to that ship. And so I started to kind of look at the fighters pretty much that I had left. And I realized that with the credit I still had on my account and the fighters I had left, I could kind of fold all that together and use that to buy back the Glaive and then essentially reduce myself to the one fighter and then some other bigger ships. So I thought about it and I thought about it and I thought about it, and I was on the verge of doing it up until the point where I saw that video where he said, oh, we're going to be changing the flight engine. I said, what does that mean for the Glaive? And that is where I started to kind of pull away from the idea and say, you know what, I'm going to take the wait and see approach on that, because there's a part of me that wants to get the Glaive back, but I want to know more about what changes are coming to the flight engine specific to the actual ships. And of course, this is a change that's probably not going to be implemented, in 3.3. Obviously, 3.4, probably not 3.5, maybe somewhere off into the future. We don't know. We know that there is going to be a noticeable shift, and I think fighters are going to be the most vulnerable to that shift. but what specifically it's going to entail and how our ship's going to be affected, I'm not too sure. So for me, it's kind of, you know, to a certain degree, I really do want it back. But on the other hand, you know, you just don't know. Now, of course, within the framework of our current system for acquiring and then recycling and acquiring different ships, certainly in the fighter department, I know that there are many people, myself included, who have gone over that process many times. It wouldn't really be that big a deal to bring this bad boy out and give it a run. The only thing that really kind of holds me back is the fact that occasionally the ship acquisition and recycling system gets a little tweak here and there. A few extra buyback tokens a quarter would not be unappreciated, but who knows? You know, as we go into these ship sales, I certainly recognize the you know, when people kind of sit there and go, oh, but I really want it. It's like, yeah, I know that feeling. I understand that feeling. So who knows? Who knows? But hopefully, you know what? I'm going to go check out this update about the Mercury Star Runner that I just saw the email for from John Crew and Todd Pappy. Find out what they had to say. Stick that in the Piracy Show on Monday, and who knows what I'll be flying then. I'm sorry that there were no real ship updates this week, but hopefully very soon we will be seeing something much more substantial on that front. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching. So if you want to keep up with the latest and greatest in Star Citizen and Squadron 42's development, please follow us on our social media channels. See you soon.